The real world. It's dull, it's boring, it's kind of scary sometimes, and if you live in Great Britain like we here at Team Triple Jump do, it rains all the time. However, if you happen to be into video games, also like we are, then you'll know that with just a few clicks of a mouse or presses on a controller button, you can be whisked away to some of the most brilliant, beautiful, and wonderful worlds ever imagined. Alas, not all settings are created equal, and it got us wondering, if we could live out the rest of our days in a video game world, which one would we choose? So, for this list, we've gone in search of the most amazing universes from the world of digital entertainment, had a good, hard think about what it would be like to inhabit them, then arranged our favourite 10 into a list for your viewing pleasure. I'm Ashton from Triple Jump, and here are 10 video game worlds we wish we could live in. Number 10, the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic series. We're kicking off today's list with something of a wildcard entry. Look how wacky we are. Indeed, we are well aware that the galaxy far, far away started its life in films. However, in the years since Luke, Leia, Han, and Chewie made their big screen debut, there have been dozens of video games released set in George Lucas's world. The first, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, takes place roughly 4,000 years before the formation of the Galactic Empire, and sees the player character, a Force user, travelling all over the galaxy in an attempt to defeat the evil Darth Malak. Those particular circumstances are not ideal, but to be fair, they really don't have all that much bearing on your average NPC, who instead just gets to bask in a glorious sci-fi universe. As we know, the Force exists, and you might be lucky enough to have special powers, which, let's face it, would make day-to-day tasks so much easier. Even if you don't, there's still intergalactic travel, weird and wonderful drinks to be sampled at your local cantina, and robots. So many robots. If you see any though, avoid the blue milk at all costs, because if the stuff our writer had at Disney World is any approximation, it's super gross. Number 9, Mass Effect. In order to compile this list, our writer went on to the internet, trademark, to see what video game worlds people would choose to live in if they could, and this one came as a bit of a shock. Indeed, it was seen that one of the most popular retirement destinations in gaming would be the universe as we see it in the Mass Effect series, and the more we think about it, the more we'd tend to agree with those who suggested it. Now, I know what you're thinking, but Ashton, the Mass Effect universe is under threat from an ancient alien race who wish to wipe out all sentient life. And yes, that's not ideal, but there are plenty of other things that make the world of Mass Effect great. The titular Mass Effect has made technological marvels like faster-than-light travel and artificial gravity possible, meaning that it's possible to visit all kinds of interesting worlds quicker than popping down to the shops. The universe is also full of weird and wonderful aliens, and whilst not all of them are friendly, many of them are, which means lots and lots of new chums. It's not perfect, but I'd trade Earth's problems for a few Reapers and intergalactic travel any day. Number 8, Coral Island. Okay, so space might be a bit too out there for some of you. So how's about a nice tropical paradise instead? Sounds good? Well then, prepare to be whisked away to Coral Island, the seaside setting of the 2023 farm and life sim of the same name. In Coral Island, players take on the role of a person who's become disillusioned with living in the big city and has chosen to eschew urban living in favour of fixing up a farm on a tropical island. This might sound like a lot of hard work, but let's face it, it beats sitting in front of a computer for 8 hours a day writing reports, or worse, dealing with the general public. If farm life does get a bit much though, there's plenty of other things to do. Explore the nearby mine, build relationships with the locals, donate to the museum, go fishing, or help the environment by cleaning up an oil spill. It gets better though, because you can befriend the merfolk who live in the sea nearby, and should you be so inclined, you can even romance them. I know they say there are plenty of fish in the sea, but this just might be taking that sentiment a bit too far. Number 7, Sea of Thieves, Safer Seas mode. Being a pirate seems like a good time. Not the Tom Hanks kidnapping kind of pirate. We're talking the seafaring, booty-loving, plank-walking kind of pirate you see in the movies. And there just so happens to be a video game world where all of your plundering dreams can come true. Sea of Thieves is a multiplayer open-world adventure in which players take control of a pirate and sail the seas in order to gather treasures, which can then be sold, and the money used to buy snazzy eye patches or nicer sails for your ship. Enabling the Safer Seas mode means you won't come across any antagonists while aboard your ship, so you can sail without the worry of being attacked. Just think of all the fun you could have captaining your own sloop, sailing from island to island, playing jaunty sea shanties, and following treasure maps to uncover troves of booty. Or, if you get a bit seasick, you could always just kick back with a mug of grog in the local tavern, or relax on one of the many pristine beaches. Heck, you could even claim your own small island if you feel like getting away from humanity once and for all. Number 6, Spyro the Dragon, Dark Hollow. When we were pulling together the entries for this list, we initially left out the world of Spyro the Dragon. However, after Peter reminded us of Dark Hollow, we just had to fit it in. Sorry, Mushroom Kingdom. To be honest, we'd be perfectly happy living just about anywhere in the Spyro the Dragon universe. But if we had to pick one specific area, Dark Hollow would undoubtedly be it. Sure, it has a bit of an orc problem, but we're sure there's a small purple fellow who'd be more than happy to help out with that. Dark Hollow is a mysterious, dreamy realm shrouded in darkness and illuminated by stars, lanterns, and the soft glow of the moon. It gets even better in the Reignited trilogy too, as the area is lit by candlelight and filled with books. Furthermore, the dragons who live there are some of the most interesting in the whole game, as Dark Hollow is populated by scribes and actors, making it the perfect place for anyone of the literary or thespian persuasion. Basically, if you're looking for somewhere you could curl up with a good book, watch a thrilling play, or simply get a well-deserved bit of rest, then Dark Hollow is absolutely the place to be. Number 5, Pokemon. Now, don't get us wrong, we don't necessarily agree with the concept of Pokemon training. After all, it's essentially fantasy cockfighting, and I think most of us can agree that, in a realistic setting, that wouldn't be okay. However, just living in the world of Pokemon, now that would be a blast. At this point, there are more Pokemon games than you can shake a stick at, which means that anyone wanting to take up residence in the Pokemon universe has plenty of choice when it comes to where they want to live. If you like nature and hiking, the lush greenery and mountain vistas of Johto might be just what you're after. Or if you're more in the market for a tropical paradise, then you'd be right at home in Alola. Or perhaps rivers and waterways are more your bag, in which case you'd be better off settling in Kalos. Who doesn't love a nice relaxing boat trip after all? No matter where you reside though, what's assured is hundreds upon hundreds of interesting creatures, all of which are ripe for the photographing or studying, and definitely not for enslaving and forcing to fight against one another. Number 4, Animal Crossing New Horizons. Ever fancied getting away from it all and settling down on a remote tropical island somewhere? Not a completely abandoned island, mind you, but somewhere devoid of people. Perhaps with a few sentient animals willing to provide services that make things a little more pleasant. Well then, you'd be right at home in the world of Animal Crossing New Horizons. First, you'll need to purchase a getaway package from Tom Nook, who will be more than happy to furnish you with a plane ticket and a spacious tent in which to live until such a time that a more permanent residence can be built. From there, the island is your oyster. Do a spot of fishing, catch bugs, make friends with the locals, shake trees to see if furniture falls out, yes really, or spend your time cursing Tom Nook and his capitalist ways. You can even sell the things you fish and forage for bells, the local currency, which can be used to buy clothing and furniture, build amenities for the town, or settle up your ever-increasing debt with Tom Nook. Actually, this is starting to sound more and more like my life right now, but I suppose I can't sell coconuts to pay my mortgage. Number 3, Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn. To be honest, given their fantastical nature, it is in the name after all, we probably could have picked any of the settings from any one of the Final Fantasy games to appear on this list, but while conducting our extensive research, it was Final Fantasy XIV's Hydaelyn that cropped up time and time again. The main reason many would choose Hydaelyn as their getaway is due to the sheer number of things that you could do with your life. If you're the daring type, you could make a nice income as an adventurer, exploring the land, fighting monsters, or helping the locals out with smaller problems. If you're not quite so brave, there's still lots and lots to do. While away your days fishing, learning to play a musical instrument, or simply travelling the world in order to see what there is out there. No matter what you end up doing with your life, you know you're going to be doing it in one of the most beautiful and diverse settings in all of gaming. Plus, there's magic. So if you ever get sick or break your leg whilst helping out a townsperson, there's a bevy of mages who will be more than happy to put it right for you, quick sharp. Number 2, the Kingdom Hearts series. Is this entry a bit of a cheat on account of the fact that much of Kingdom Hearts takes place within the worlds of various Disney movies? Maybe. Are we going to take it off this list then? No, absolutely not. For those who are unfamiliar with the franchise, Kingdom Hearts came into being when some clever clogs down at Square Enix decided to take Final Fantasy and numerous Disney properties and throw them in a blender. The result is delightfully whimsical, and although the lore is some of the most convoluted in gaming, the setting is wholly joyful. Ever wanted to meet the ancient Greeks and potentially get the opportunity to meet slightly less bastardy versions of the Pantheon? Head on over to the Olympic Coliseum and you can do just that. Looking for a life with smoking caterpillars and biscuits that make you feel weird when you eat them? You'll want to venture over to Wonderland, my friend. Or just after a nice, quiet, wholesome life in a cozy forest filled with anthropomorphic animal friends, the 100-Acre Woods sounds right up your alley. And if you ever want to visit friends in other worlds, just build yourself a gummy ship and you'll be there in 2 shakes of a satyr's tail. And number 1, Stardew Valley. No matter how hard we tried, we simply couldn't think of anywhere in the world of gaming that would be a more pleasant place to live than Stardew Valley. The game itself is one of the cozy variety. After the protagonist's grandfather passes away, he leaves them his old farm, though it's in a somewhat sorry state. Not to worry though, because the town the farm is situated in, the titular Stardew Valley, has everything a new farmer could possibly need to turn their overgrown plot of land into an agricultural gold mine. The protagonist spends their days in Stardew Valley undertaking a variety of wholesome activities, including planting seeds, watering crops, and harvesting fruits and vegetables, cooking, fishing, mining, attending festivals, and chatting to the friendly townsfolk. And after all of that, they can even get a beer in the saloon if they fancy it. The only real threats are the monsters that live in the mines, and if you don't feel like being a hero, all you need to do is steer clear. With friendly neighbours, lots to see and do, romance to be had if you fancy it, and even a little adventure if you're feeling brave, Stardew Valley is, in our opinion, the best possible video game world to find yourself living in.